Hello students, we have already done with the first chapter, that is nutrition in plants. I hope you have understood the lesson. Whenever you have time, please open the textbook and read the lesson. And then if you have some difficulties, please note them down and I'll be helping you during the mid session. Okay, so let's start the second chapter, and the name of the chapter is Nutrition in Animals. So let's see what we are going to study in this second chapter, that is Nutrition in Animals. So once the lesson is over, that means at the end of the chapter, you will be able to differentiate between different modes of nutrition in animals. You will be able to explain the role of different parts of the digestive system. You will understand the role of buccal cavity in digestion, what are the diseases related to digestive system, and you will be able to explain how digestion takes place in cattle, or we can say ruminants, and how unicellular organisms like amoeba feeds on small animals or organisms. So let's start with the second chapter, that is nutrition in animals. In the previous chapter, we saw all living things need food to survive. Food contains nutrients which give us energy, help in the growth and repair of the body tissues, and keep us free from all diseases, right? As you know, we need strong immune system to fight against all the diseases. Especially now we are locked inside the house due to the coronavirus. But we cannot sit in the house for a longer time, isn't it? Someday or the other, we need to go out. And this virus will remain with us for a very long time. So we need to learn to live with this virus. Physical distancing, social distancing, face mask, use of sanitizers may help you for a certain extent. But these are not risk-free. So we need to build a strong immune system. So how can we develop a good immune system? So this is what we are going to study in this chapter 2. So the second chapter is nutrition in animals. So we have already learnt in chapter 1 about nutrition. So what is nutrition? Nutrition is the mode of taking food and its utilization by the body. So in class 6, you have studied that food consists of many components. So try to recall all of them. And you can list them as well. Can you recall? I have already done that in chapter 1 as well. Let me tell you all the components of food one more time. They are carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, and minerals. These components of food, such as carbohydrates, are complex substances. These complex substances cannot be utilized by the body directly. So these substances should be made simpler by means of breakdown. So the breakdown of complex components of food into simpler substances is called digestion. So I'll repeat again. So what is digestion? The breakdown of complex components of food into simpler substances is called digestion. As animals eat different types of food, they have different types of feeding organs. The mode of taking food into the body varies in different organisms. Now let us see the different ways of taking food by the animals. We'll go to the first slide. We can see a hummingbird, right? So hummingbird sucks nectar of flowers. In the second slide, infants of humans and many other animals feed on mother's milk by sucking. Let's go to the next one. Human beings use their hands to put food into their mouth and chew them, right? Okay, moving on. Next is the snake. Snake swallows the food without chewing. Next comes the earthworm. An earthworm uses its muscular pharynx to swallow its food. A frog captures its prey using its long sticky tongue. Now, mosquitoes and leeches have their mouth parts adapted for piercing and sucking blood from the body of other animals. Animals like elephants lift the food with their trunks and put it into their mouth. Small animals like squirrels and rabbits have sharp front teeth to gnaw seeds and fruits. Now, this is the last slide. In this, there are some parasites like tapeworms and hookworms lives inside the body of humans and other animals and absorb nutrients from the gut. That means these are inside the body of animals and they absorb the nutrients from the human body. Now here you have a small homework which you are going to solve in your textbook. So you have to open the textbook page 11 and there is a table given. So you have to find out what is the type of food and mode of feeding of the following animals, and you have to write the observation in the given table. So there is a help box which is given to you. So looking at the help box, you can easily find out the answers. Here the animals are snail, ant, eagle, hummingbird, lice, mosquito, butterfly, and the last one is housefly. Suppose if you have any difficulty to solve this table, I will definitely help you during a Google Meet. There is an amazing fact of feeding style of starfish. So starfish feeds on animals covered by hard shells of calcium carbonate. After opening the shell, the starfish pops out its stomach through its mouth to eat the soft animal inside the shell. The stomach then goes back into the body and the food is slowly digested. To know more about the feeding style of starfish, I am going to send you a link. So please click on the link and open the video and please watch the video. Till now we saw different feeding styles of animals. Now we are moving on to the important topic, that is digestion in humans. Do you know what happens to the food that we eat? Have you ever thought what happens to the food that you eat throughout the day, that is maybe your breakfast, lunch or dinner, or anything like you eat in between? How do you get energy from it? That's what we have to see here in the human digestive system. Human digestive system is made up of a long tube called the alimentary canal or digestive tract. Do you have any idea how long it could be? Or how many organs are there in the digestive system? What is the role played by each and every organ of digestive system? The digestive system is made up of the following parts, or you can say the compartments. They are buccal cavity, food pipe, or it is also called as esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, rectum and anus. So I'll repeat all the organs that come under digestive system. The first one to begin with is buccal cavity. Second one is the food pipe. It is also called as esophagus. After the esophagus you have stomach. Stomach joins the small intestine. From small intestine the food moves to the large intestine and then to the rectum and finally anus. Have you ever thought that this system has so many parts or organs? Do we think while eating the food has to travel such a long distance inside our body? The food goes through each and every organ and finally it gets digested. Don't you think the journey of the food is too long? Yes. The food components gradually get digested as food travels through the various compartments. During the process, the inner walls of the stomach and the small intestine and various glands secrete digestive juices which help in the process of digestion. The digestive juices convert complex substances of food into simpler ones. The digestive tract and the associated glands together constitute the digestive system. So now let us know what happens to the food in different parts of the digestive tract. So let us begin with the first compartment, that is buccal cavity. Food is taken into the body through the mouth. Most animals, including humans, take food inside the body through the mouth. The process of taking food into the body is called ingestion. So first we will see the processes involved in nutrition. There are mainly 5 processes. So I am going to explain one by one, and then we will move to the digestion in human beings. In animals, the process of nutrition involves different steps which are as follows. The first one is ingestion. The taking in of the food is called ingestion. That is the way you insert the food into your mouth. So that part is called as ingestion. After ingestion, the second part comes, that is digestion. The breakdown of food into simpler form with the help of digestive juices is called digestion. So this takes place in either stomach or in the intestines. So digestion of the process takes place mainly in stomach and intestines. So the third step is absorption. The process in which the soluble substances produced during digestion are absorbed by the body tissues is called absorption. So I'll repeat again. The process in which the soluble substances produced during digestion of the food are absorbed by the body tissues is called absorption. Here absorption mostly takes place in the small intestine because all the nutrients are digested and they are absorbed by the body. The next step involved is the assimilation. What is assimilation? The process of building complex substances using simple substances to get energy is called assimilation. At the end, the last process, that is called as egestion. The process of elimination of the undigested food from the body is called egestion. So after the digestion, the remaining food which cannot be digested by the body is thrown out of the body. So that process is called as egestion. So these are the processes involved in nutrition. They are ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation and egestion. So all these 5 processes that are involved in nutrition are very, very important. That's all for this session. I'll be explaining you what happens to the food once it is in the mouth in the next period. Before ending the lesson, I just want to recap what we have studied. We saw the different animals and their feeding styles. And then I have explained you what is digestion. Digestion is the process of breaking down of complex food particles into simpler food particles. Also, we saw the different processes involved in nutrition. They are ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation, and at the end, egestion. That's all for this class today. Complete the homework given and also solve the assignment which will be followed. Click on the video links that are sent. Stay safe, stay healthy, and have a great day.